lot of the music we're playing in the concert on the second is some of it's music we played before, and some of it's music we recently recorded. I made transition now into the music of Kurtag, is a composer whose music we first played together on Elena's master's recital. I remember that clearly. And Kurtag has many books of what he calls games, and these games were started out as pieces for children to approach the piano, but to approach the piano in original ways, in the ways that children want to play the piano, which is not necessarily with all 5 fingers, right? They might rather play with their fists. So he uses different kinds of extended techniques, what we call extended techniques, which is really just ways that kids want to play the piano. And so he started writing these pedagogical pieces called games to introduce children to the piano and to the world of contemporary music through the piano. He's written now 8 books of Játékok, they're called in Hungarian. It's become a huge collection of music for solo piano, piano for hands, and 2 pianos. And the pieces get harder and harder, and there are 2 books now dedicated to piano duo of those 8. And Kurtag himself plays in piano duo with his wife. And they have a very wonderful, intimate approach to the piano that comes so much out of their own relationship. And so they're wonderfully inspired pieces and very personal pieces. Many of them are homages to people he knew, composers, other composers, friends, teachers, family. And so they're these wonderful pieces that capture the essence of something else. Of a person or of their music. He also plays very much with the medium itself of piano for hands and 2 pianos, so there's a lot of wonderful choreography that's connected. One of the pieces called Beating is really an argument between these 2 people sitting side by side. Some of the pieces are very uncoordinated. The person at the top does one thing, the person at the bottom does their own thing, and yet it creates a beautiful sound world together. They're wonderful, wonderful pieces we've been playing for many years, and recently recorded the complete 4-hand pieces of Kurtag's. So it's all of these original game pieces, but he also has spent a lot of time doing transcriptions, pieces from early music, from Machaut and Frescobaldi and Purcell, and then many pieces of Bach's chorales that he's arranged, and they're quite true to the original, but he adds a little bit of his own coloring or viewpoint on these arrangements. And so on the program on April 2nd, we'll be playing a mix of original pieces from the Játékok series mixed with some of these arrangements of early music. So you hear both contemporary sounds and then familiar sounds, but interconnected in various ways. So Elena's dissertation was written on the music of Conlon Nancarrow, and before she moved to Basel, she found that when Nancarrow died, all of his music, scores, player pianos, equipment, anything that was related to music from his studio went to these incredible archives in Switzerland, the Paul Zacher archives. And so when she was working on her dissertation and living in England, she went to Basel to look at some of the player piano rules that she wanted to study. Little did she know that she'd end up moving to Basel a year or so later, and she's been living there ever since. She has continued to be in touch with the people of the Zacher archives, which has been an incredible resource for us, because she has a close relationship with the director of the archives, and when he finds something new that he thinks she might be interested in, he just calls her up and says, hey. So he found recently this series of 9 pieces by Nancarrow, early solo piano pieces, that, as far as we know, have never been performed, and they are going to be premiered here on the Music on the Edge concert on April 2nd, which is very exciting. This particular piece, Abstracted Art, is very influenced by Art Tatum. I was very interested in listening to Art Tatum, incredible jazz pianist, how he approached the piano, and I took a lot of notes, of kind of descriptive notes of things that he did at the piano, you know, fast scale ending with a ping and things like that. And I wrote all these things down, put it away, came back to this list of descriptions and used those as the kind of musical material to base the piece on, so that it doesn't sound really like Art Tatum, though there certainly is a jazz influence, but captures something of his approach to the instrument. So it's a kind of very similar to the Kurtag. This is part of why we put it on the program, is that it's similar to Kurtag in his homage pieces. It pays tribute to another musician without using any direct quotation. And so those two pieces, Abstracted Art 1 and 2, are the ones that we'll do. And everything on the program relates to Kurtag in different ways. My music is also very influenced by Nan Caro. Nan Caro was very close friends with György Ligeti, and Ligeti was a classmate of Kurtag's in Hungary, and very close friends all their lives. So there are these connections between the different composers who will be represented on the program. We're really excited to come back to Pittsburgh and to play this program, and I think it'll be an enjoyable show. It'll be a lot of short pieces, so they'll be really, if you don't like one thing, it'll change in about 2 minutes and there'll be something else to listen to. So I think it'll be quite a collection of interesting pieces for people to listen to.